Today is the parable that deals with the servant's duty to his master. The servant has been working hard and is tired, but his master now wants him to serve him, before he eats and rests himself. This seems an unreasonable request to our ears. But in one sense, this is talking about us simply listening to our Lord, and doing what He says in His gospel truth. When we know our loving God, and trust Him, we know the gospel is ultimately designed to bless us and empower us with God's presence. All of Jesus' parables speak to something different. This one speaks to being a servant, even though we also know that Jesus calls us friends, which is a very close, intimate relationship. Jesus calls us friends, and this is how He sees us. But He was also the servant of all, and this is the way we should think of ourselves too. Jesus says a servant is not greater than his master, and we should do whatever we are told to do. His first instruction was to simply believe His gospel, which means live it. We cannot merit salvation by serving God. This is a free gift He gives, absolute, total assurance of salvation. This is the second gospel coaching session, and is available on the home page. But once we become a servant, we must view ourselves as that. The servant in this parable was just doing his duty, even though he was tired. But we are told that the commands of Jesus are not burdensome on us, and His command to believe the gospel blesses us. The Bible refers to us as bond servants. This is being a servant by choice. It means we want to be a servant, not that we must be one. This is a person who desires to be a servant to someone. This is how God views us. The parable says we are unprofitable or unworthy. This is speaking of our flesh, of self. We have no worth or honor in just ourselves. But we do have honor given us by God because we are His kids. This is the honor we receive when we declare we are bond servants, and choose to serve God in love. This is the unction the gospel gives us. God is love, and we only love because we are first loved. God's love constrains and motivates us to do what we should do. As Jesus' friends, we have the duty, at the very least, to believe what He tells us to believe. After all, Jesus is God in human flesh, and He is our Lord, which means our Master. The Father told Moses He'd require us to believe His prophet's words. What this means is we must believe His gospel. The gospel is at least part of the message of Jesus throughout all of His parables. Trust, love and friendship is all about us being a good servant and sharing all that God gives us with others.